This is the Para Cave podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leagues Club, and co-sponsors Bo Cook from Loan Market, Scott from Brightside Detailing and Ceramics, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, the official clothing partner of the Para Cave podcast, and the official media partner of the Para Cave podcast, the Parramatta Times.
Welcome to another episode of the Para Cave podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Para Cave.
And yes, welcome back to the Para Cave podcast. Troy Warner here with another episode and another game day preview. And today it is a very special one as it is State of Origin Day and it's game one at the Adelaide Oval, and I've got a very special guest joining me today on the podcast. I have Mr. Greg Bird, who played 18 State of Origin games for the mighty New South Wales Blues, and he joined me for a chat about the game, about selections in the New South Wales side, a little bit of Origin moments as well for him, and also we talk about the danger players from Queensland as well. We also give some score predictions, some first try scorer predictions, and also a man of the match prediction as well. So I really hope you enjoy this episode with Greg Bird. I really appreciate him giving me the time to do a game day preview. It's always good to get a Origin legend on for State of Origin, so I tried to get a Queenslander on. Maybe next time I'll get a Queenslander and a New South Welshman on for a game day preview, but for game one, State of Origin 2023, this is the game day preview with Greg Bird. Enjoy. And welcome back to the Para Cave podcast, and this is the New South Wales versus Queensland State of Origin game day preview. Game one is being played tonight at the Adelaide Oval, game one of the series, and I've got a very special guest to give a bit of a preview, his thoughts on the game, a man who played 18 games for New South Wales, the mighty Blues. Greg Bird, how are you going, legend?
Good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. Really getting excited for State of Origin. And thank you very much for joining me. I thought I'd get a former Origin player on and his little thoughts about the game coming up. So we'll start with what are your thoughts on both the New South Wales side and the Queensland side?
I think we've picked probably one of the strongest we picked over the last couple of years. I think last year I thought we went in there a little bit skill-based, a little bit finesse-based, and we got out-muscled by a bunch of young blokes. The Carrigans and Cotters, they turned up young and eager and aggressive, and they sort of made it difficult for the boys in the middle of the pack, middle of the field. So I think Freddie's maybe realised that, and he's gone with a stronger, more hard-nosed approach. Pick blokes like Hudson Young, who I think he's a sort of player who plays that tough brand of football down in Canberra, and then bring TPJ in as well. Everyone knows that's pretty much his game. Hopefully, that fine line that he always steps over in clubland, it turns into a masterstroke for Freddie at Origin level.
Now, obviously, we know that the punch is out of the game. Origin's a little bit of a different beast. Do you think Tevita might, as you said, cross that fine line and fire that aggression?
Yeah, mate. I think the days of blokes losing their heads and punching are gone. I don't even to someone like him who was a bit of a hothead. But I say hothead. It's not like I'm talking down about him. Yeah. I love that. I love the way he plays. I love that that side of his game. But yeah, it is the way the game's moving. It's changed. It's the ability to play that style has sort of been taken away from a lot of players these days. But I think it'll be a fiery one. But I'm sure that those boys can keep it together and dominate them physically by the book.
Now, we saw that today, as we record this earlier, Latrell Mitchell was ruled out. How much of a massive blow for New South Wales is Latrell out of the side?
Mate, massive. I thought, not having him and Trbojevic last year really hurt us. It was sort of gave Queensland an opportunity without those two on the field. He's such an iconic player. Every time he plays these big games, he's in front of a big crowd. He puts on a show. He's a performer. So to miss him it's going to be a loss. But at the end of the day, Crichton will step in. He's been playing some big games himself the last couple of years.
Yeah.
In grand finals at a young age, and he stays at Origin as well. So I'm sure that he'll come in with some familiar faces around him and do a good job.
And just speaking of those familiar faces, obviously Brian Toto, Jerome Luai, Nathan Cleary, Isaiah Yeo. Do you think that is a massive advantage for New South Wales, having those club combinations in the one side?
Well, it's proven to be an advantage before. It's proven to be a massive advantage for Queensland. A few years back when that Melbourne spine was running the show, but we're yet to be able to build that repeated dominance. Now we've showed dominance in patches and showed dominance in matches, one series here and there over the last couple, but the boys need to start stringing them together now, and hopefully, the dream is to turn on Queensland. What I'm sure all those young blokes who were watching while I was playing had to live through. It was tough as a player. I'm sure it was tough as a fan, and as a junior player aspiring to play at that level. I'm sure the idea of what they wanted to do when they got their chance would have been playing on their mind every time, and now they've got their chance. So hopefully they can start building their own era.
Now, you mentioned Tommy Trbojevic there a little bit earlier. We've seen he hasn't quite been at his best this year. Maybe his injuries are in the back of his mind. He did have a great game against Canberra a couple of weeks ago. Do you think he'll be right to go for Origin? Do you think this will be the game that it could be his breakout game for season 2023?
Yeah, mate, it's hard to say. He's such a talent. You know what he can do when he's in form, when he's feeling good, when everything's sort of working for him at Manly, and we've seen it at New South Wales level as well. He probably hasn't been at that level this year, and that's probably a little bit of confidence coming back from that injury. He's not going to, turn up day one and just be able to replicate the standard that he was playing before he got injured. But yeah, as you said, that game, the last game he played, he scored 3 tries and looked outstanding. So I'm sure it's only a matter of time before he gets back to a place where he's comfortable. And he's had a great game. He's had 10 days off, whatever it is, since his last match to recover. I'm sure he'll be ready to rip and tear. I'm not worried one bit about the health of the talent of Tom Trbojevic. He's a freak.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, there's 3 debutants in the New South Wales side. We're 2 nights out from Origin. How would those debutants be feeling 2 nights out? Do you remember how you felt back at your New South Wales debut?
Yeah, mine was game 2, 2007. We played in Sydney. Unfortunately got beat. I come off the bench. I got on in the second half. Sort of mid to early second half. Got about 20 minutes out, and I loved it. I had a ball, but yeah, you do. You you play the game over in your head, and you think about what you're going to do when you get out there, and you pray that what you don't want to do, and the fear of failure and the pressure and 80,000 in the grandstand. Yeah, it can be quite nerve-wracking, but there's a lot of experience around him as well, and I'm sure around all three of those boys, and I'm sure that, you know, Freddie and all the senior players are getting around him and telling them what they should be doing. You know, you can't do much about it until 8 o'clock Wednesday night. There's no use playing the game over too much in your head. Got to try to keep calm and keep doing what you do for a normal game. And I'm sure they'll be getting told those things. I'm really looking forward to seeing a couple of those young blokes play. I think they're, as I said earlier, I think they bring a lot. Definitely TPJ and Hudson bring a lot of, you know, that competitive edge to New South Wales team, and I think with the finesse of that that Penrith connection, sorry, not the Para connection, the Penrith connection and Teddy and the likes, I'm sure, you know, they'll balance out each other pretty well.
You just mentioned Teddy there. He's another one that sort of hasn't had quite the season that he would probably have liked so far at the Roosters. Do you think playing in this, being the captain of New South Wales and playing in an Origin series can also kickstart his sort of club career as well?
I don't think it'll be a breath of fresh air for him. You know, unfortunately, I played at Sharks when we weren't going too crash hot, and the Titans, who weren't a mainstay in the semi-finals. So, you know, playing club level football isn't a representation of how you're going to turn up and play in at Origin. I was always, for me, coming out of a team that may have been struggling to sort of on the fringe of the eight, out of the eight, to go into with a bunch of superstars. You got to play 3 matches. You're pretty much focused on just the one. You're playing against the best. You're surrounded by the best, and it brings out the best in everyone. And I'm sure Teddy he'll revel in the fact that he's got the pressure off his back of a struggling club side, especially with the pressure that I guess having been such a successful club at the Roosters and what they've done over the last 10 years with him inside. I'm sure it's been tough, but I'm sure it'll be a relief for him to get into camp and just focus on one thing, and is leading those Blues boys out to a victory.
How do you think Nicho Hynes will be used off the bench? He's obviously the Cronulla halfback at the moment. They've got Nathan Cleary there at halfback. So you would probably assume that he'd go into the 5/8 role maybe. Do you think Jerome Luai will then go into a hooker sort of role?
Yeah, they might do that, mate. You never know. Mate, we played the other year, and they had when they had Cherry Evans doing that sort of role, and they've had other players for both teams. And he'll go on and play wherever he's needed. I'm sure Freddie's been training him about 3 or 4 different positions. He would have been playing centre. He would have been 5'8", half, fullback, hooker. And you never know. They do have the ability with Luai. He's a bit more hardened in the fact that he's maybe a little bit more solid and a little bit more grubby, and you could sort of throw him in the middle and he could piss a few blokes off at hooker, rub a few blokes the wrong way. As I'm sure you Parramatta fans know all about after last year. And do what he does best. And then you could chuck Nicho on the edge and let him create there a little bit. But I think they'll use him when they need to, where they need him. I don't think they'll make a substitution to hooker unless they need a substitution hooker. And I don't think they'll really replace him with a player. I think they'll inject him into the game.
Okay.
It's just to assert his dominance wherever he can. Now, he was such a successful player at Melbourne when he first came in as a fullback.
Yeah,
that's where he got he sort of built his name up and got his contract at Cronulla, and that was a roaming role, the way fullbacks play. And I'm sure with the way Origin's played, it's such a fast-paced match. You know, if you're missing one forward and you got an extra half roaming around the field, you can sort of all compensate for each other. So it might add a new facet to our attack, and I'm sure that he's going to be influential wherever they put him.
Now, you're a proud New South Welshman. Do you even care about Queensland, or who do you see the dangers in Queensland, in the Queensland side? Or don't worry about it?
I hate them. I don't really worry about them too much, but you have to be a fool not to think that the strike players that they have. Munster's one of the best 5'8" in the game, if not the best 5'8" in the game. He's been doing it at the top level at a very high class for the last 8 years. I'm sure if they're not focused on him, he'll come back to bite them. And I think if they can do a number on him as well, if they can rush up on him, take his time, don't give him any space, I think they can really do a lot to shut their attack down, because I think everything comes off him. Cherry steers him around the paddock, but it's whenever Munster gets a bit of space out wide, he tends to make inroads, make line breaks, get offloads, just disturb the role of or the control that New South Wales might want to have on a game. So I think he's the main one. Reece Walsh has been great the way he injects himself in. He's fast, but again, the ball's got to get all the way out there, and it's got to get through Munster's hands most of the time. And I think he's a number one player.
And how is it being a New South Welshman living up in Queensland at this time of year?
Yeah, it's frustrating. Oh, mate, I've said it a million times. Queensland's a beautiful place. It's just full of dickhead Queenslanders. That's the only bad bit about it. Yes, you take the good with the bad. It's great. It's just 6 weeks of the year. They carry on like pork chops. So, and it's passion. I love it. It frustrates me. It frustrates me probably more than anything when they come out with the state of origin means more to them than it means to us and all that jazz. It's an absolute joke. But the fact is they believe it, and they live off that. They thrive off that. I think we've got to come out with fire and show them early and show them hard. That's not what we're about down there. And hopefully, mate, I coach a bunch of 20-year-olds up here in Southport, and mate, they all wear their maroon stuff to train, and I don't shirk my responsibility in sometimes showing them techniques in tackling, opposed to telling them about it. Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine. One of the other controversies coming out this week is the jersey that New South Wales is going to wear, the navy blue instead of the sky blue. What are your thoughts on that one?
I don't think it matters. Okay, yeah. It's a blue jersey. It's a blue jersey with the New South Wales Blues. Wear whatever they want, really. I don't think it matters. I think all the talk is all the Karens in the world that want to whinge about something. That's what people want to do these days, is pick a negative that they can focus their energy on and try to get likes on in social media. I don't know. It's a jersey. It's a blue jersey. If you're a Blues fan, you support it. Whether they wear a Blues jersey, a brown jersey, a green jersey, who cares? That's the New South Wales Blues.
Yeah, no, fair call. And how will you be spending your Origin night? What's the dinner of choice on Origin night?
Mate, I'm going to Papua New Guinea.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got been invited over to do a bit of a guest speaking gig over there. So yeah, looking forward to back to PNG. I haven't been there since about 2014.
Yeah.
Then we played I actually captained the Australia's Prime Minister's team. I played over there a fair few times, and junior Kangaroos early on, and then those Prime Minister's teams throughout the middle of my career. So I really enjoyed it. The people over there are probably the most passionate rugby league fans you'll ever come across, and I haven't been there Origin time, so I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like.
Who do you think that PNG will be supporting? I mean, I suppose they're closer to Queensland, so do you reckon they'll be supporting
they are closer to they are closer to Queensland, but I think there'll be a fair few New South Welshman Blues jerseys there as well. A lot of the times I've been over there, they're very supportive, and they're very, as I said, they're very passionate, but they want to tell you everything about them and everything about their team, what team they go for, what Origin team they go for. It's a massive rivalry, whether you're from New South Wales and Queensland or you just support those teams. I think that's the beauty of the game, which was created back in the day. That it's tribal. It's whatever tribe you align yourself with, you take up those arms and you fight for them. So it's I know there'll be some Blues over there, but I know there'll be probably a fair few more Queenslanders. I think Darius Boyd's over there with me, so I might have to smack him about it a little bit and take out a bit of my Origin frustrations on him. Now he's retired and he's probably slowed down a bit. I can catch him.
Yeah, that's nice. Oh, well, that'll be an experience, one to remember forever. Do you have a score prediction at all? Do you think there'll be a lot of points scored in this game?
Mate, I think there might be a few. I don't think it'll be a really high scoring game, but I'll say 26-18.
Okay, yeah. Have you got a guess on the first try scorer?
First try scorer, Crichton.
Okay, yeah. Man of the match?
And man of the match will go to James Tedesco.
Okay, nice. Love it. Well, Greg Bird, thank you very much for joining me for this Origin preview, Game 1. Really enjoyed it. Let's hope your predictions are right. I'm tipping New South Wales as well. I think it might be about 18-14. I might say Tommy Turbo for first try scorer and Nathan Cleary for man of the match, and get that series off to a winning way. And then go up to Queensland and then wrap up the series up there in Queensland.
There'd be nothing better, mate. There would be nothing better.
Well, thank you very much for listening to that game day preview with Greg Bird, State of Origin game number 1. And as I said before, I really appreciate Greg for his time and giving me his thoughts on State of Origin number 1. Enjoy the game. I hope your team wins. I will be going for New South Wales. But if you are a Queenslander supporter, well, I hope your team doesn't win, as I am a New South Welshman. But it should be a great game. Game 1 of the series. So enjoy the game wherever you're watching it, however you're watching it. Let me know on the socials. And may the best team win. Enjoy.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. See you next time.